Aon is a fairly large risk management company. I'll flick through that. The main reason for showing this slide is not to show how great Aon is, but to talk about the fact that Aon has grown up through a lot of acquisitions, and we've had a culture of silo. And when I was asked to talk about the future of cloud collaboration, I was thinking in terms of our organization about, is it about cloud or is it about collaboration? And just using the cloud as a vehicle through which you can collaborate. So that's sort of flavored some of what I'm talking about. That's the whole story. That's what I'm going to be talking to. So the first thing I thought was why would you actually use cloud to approach the collaboration? What is the significance of cloud in the question? Is it just the availability of the connectedness of what you have? The availability, the speed, the robustness of what you have available to you. And as a business, you have to understand, why are you doing this? You're going to be making some fairly fundamental cultural changes in your organization to be able to use collaboration if you haven't really been collaborating in the past. And I think many companies have not had that collaborative framework before. So what are the things that you're looking for in the business objectives? Tie your defined benefits to why you're going to cloud and to the collaborative tools. Where in your business processes does collaboration really help? Does it help when you're sitting in front of a client? Possibly not. Does it help when you're talking with your colleagues about what they know about the client? And if you have a global client, which we have many, how do you make sure that you can access all of the information that we have culturally about and corporately about that client? And not just the facts and figures, but also the sentiment and thinking about how do we know what we know about the client? Sometimes you can take the opportunity to look at the business and say, if I had had collaboration, instant collaboration, at the very beginning, what in my business process would I have done differently? What do I change in that process, in my design, that I can do now? And how disruptive can I be to attack my processes, to make them simpler, to take out all the steps we've put in so that we can really leverage the information, the data the individual people have? And do we know what good looks like? Once we've embarked on collaborative technologies, what does it look like? What's going to make us change? What will actually improve? And fundamentally, it does come down to the bottom line. We want to spend less and we want to have more revenue. And that's basically the key drivers for it. And the other thing is, who's involved in this collaboration? It's not just internally. We have lots of people internally in lots of different offices. But we also deal with the underwriters. We need to understand the markets, what their sentiment is. We also have the clients. Obviously, there's those. And then there's the advisors telling us what's happening out there. We need to be collaborating with those. And the cloud, yes, you can connect through the cloud and have the appropriate connectivity and the tools for the collaboration. But just connecting, is that enough? Internally, when you drill down into it, you've got a couple of different populations. There's a classification. There's the digital natives, who are the younger guys, who have been living in the connected world. They've been growing up playing online games. They've had their apps. They've got inline purchases. They're playing with their people. They're twittering during the game. And then there's digital migrants, who are slightly grayer heads, who have seen the IT, the technologies before. They understand that they've seen sharing mainframes and that before. The technology's there before, they think. But they're starting to adopt it. So you have things like Mumsnet and things like that, where you have really got people getting used to, in their daily lives, using collaborative technologies. So the outcomes we're looking for from collaborative working. Knowledge sharing. So there's all the opportunities that are lost because people don't necessarily work in the same office anymore. We're no longer having the water cooler moment where we exchange information. So how do we leverage the social tools we have for that? We have Yammer. We haven't got a business plan at the moment for why we have Yammer. And why is it that people aren't using it? Because they don't know how that's going to help them in their daily work. Picking up the wisdom of the crowd. Do you believe the crowd is wise? Wiki, sometimes that works really well. Sometimes it works terribly. Some people have the interested contributors who don't necessarily have the right idea will be banging on about their pet subject. And how do you moderate that? So how do you get the platforms, the cloud-based platforms, to be the norm? I mean, I think overall, some of it's about trust. If you're putting stuff out collaboratively, do you trust that people are going to use that appropriately? How are they going to respond? There's a cultural shift. Is the organization going to start mining your Yammer feed when you've been chatting about where you're going to go at the weekend? How do you use the collaborative on project management? Yep, project management, great, sit in a room, do the project management, but you can do that globally now. Campaign management helps you, the collaborative nature of the campaign and the collaborative tools allows you to track what's happening, bring in the social feeds, find out what's happening, how we're responding to it, and how our clients are responding to it. But I think what's really quite critical, it's a cultural change. It has to be easy, it has to feel joined up. You have the one channel of access, which is really easy. And when Yammer ultimately joins up with Outlook, perhaps that'll make it the easier channel. People won't say it's either Outlook or Yammer, this extra thing. So some of the new concepts we need to look at. The activity streams. So people are living in the connected world. How do we see what's happening? And how can we use that in our business to make that work for us? It's difficult to see, to be honest, in the insurance broking world, how that works. But there are many industries where the knowing where people have been looking helps you and educates you into where to pitch your next marketing, your next product. The integration of social apps, I mean, that's fantastic for some industries. How do I know what this sentiment change is going to mean for me and my business? Professional risk managers, it's probably not that interesting, but understanding that if we as Aon, who've got our brand on Manchester United shirt, if there is a sentiment about that and some sentiment shifts, how's that going to impact how we're seen as a brand? I think some of the cultural changes as well. If we're using productivity applications and collaborating that way, this is no longer my document I'm working on. It's a shared document. And that's quite a cultural change for some people. It's no longer my data, my information. It's shared, it's collaborative. So that shift moves. You get dynamic peer review. The scientific community does that particularly well. You put out an idea, you have to have the backup for it, but you have that feedback coming through. As an accountant, the next real challenge is to say, okay, we are changing the way we're doing our work. We're going to look at cloud collaboration. What's the return on investment of this enterprise collaboration? Well, the first thing is to understand what's your investment. Is it just buying the flexible capacity? You have to bring in the cost of decommissioning your own kit if you're moving from the individual, your own assets to the cloud software. You're moving from a capital expenditure model to an operating expenditure model, and that changes your budgeting process. Sometimes the speed of standing up of the service is so quick that the business isn't actually able to deliver the revenue in the time it's taken to stand up that service. And the benefits, I think the real key point here is the benefits. You have to understand what the purpose of doing the cloud collaboration is before you even embark on it. It's where the journey starts, not where it ends. And as I said at the beginning, take away the word cloud, and really it's do you want to improve the way that you collaborate internally? And The final thought I had was that the future really is everything everywhere. It is all about being connected and having that approach of being connected with all your information, all your people, all your knowledge, all your clients together. So, thank you very much.